tap, send. Hello, people. Now, tap, send is finally in New York. You thought we are not coming there. We are in your place. So what you have to do is to make sure you send money to Ghana. If you're in New York, families and friends in Ghana are waiting for you. Send it. All you have to do is to put in your information, sign up on the App Store or Google Play Store, and then you tap, and send. New York, we are live and in charge. No excuse. So make sure now you use tap send to send all the money you want to send to the families in Ghana. You know what I mean? Tap send. It's secure, it's fast, and it's convenient. Open day. Did I mention my name? My name is Korley Boss. The only boss with what that's ever.
Download tap send now on Google Play and App Store. Tap send. It's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.
Hi there. My name is Korley Boss. The only boss with one S. Happy new month to all of you. Welcome to a month of new possibilities. Do you know why life has been made so easy? It's because of tap send. People, tap send is here to make your life easy if you want to transfer money to Ghana. If you want to transfer from USA, if you want to transfer from UK, Europe, Canada, a lot of places all to Ghana. And guess what? When it comes to Ghana, there's no e-levy charge. So, what are you waiting for? Download tap send on Google Play Store and App Store and be ready for exciting offers coming your way each time, every time on tap send.
Tap send. Send more, spend less.
Reminding you that this is the sound of Africa. OT Radio is live and alive. This is the time we open our hands on this. This is the newest version, of course, the greatest time of our moments now. OT Radio has come to stay. Tune in on www.otradiouk.com, and of course we have live activities more coming on politics, sports, social entertainment, and everything that you request. My name is Sanko Fatichinan, so I'm going to be part and parcel of it. And of course, OT Radio has come to say this is the sound of Africa.
And welcome to your Thursday evening #1 show around the globe. Time with tap send with your servant Nana Kwame Oseitu. We are streaming live on OT Media TV on YouTube, Facebook, and other social media platforms. And also we are live on OT Radio UK. And then you may, baby, I will be a Memoajumo Akwaba Edo Eba Jumedie. So every Thursday, we meet on this show and discuss matters that is quite dear to our heart and also to connect us to our motherland, Ghana. And today we are going to talk about one topic that is very, very crucial and important to we those living in the diaspora or living in abroad. We're talking about land ownership in Ghana. If you want to buy a land or if you want to own a property in Ghana, all that you need to know about land ownership in Ghana, we've got a very prominent lawyer, a very he's very experienced when it comes to land issues in Ghana. He's quite experienced in that area, and he's going to be with us this evening to talk to us. And also, I have another estate developer who also talked to us about how you'll be able to develop your own property without any issues with family members. He's going to join us and also talk to us about building your own property in Ghana. But before that, I want to say a very big thank you to Tap Send for supporting this program each and every week for us to be able to bring this program to you. We want to say a very big thank you to Tap Send. And if you have joined us or you are listening to us, you are watching us wherever that you are right now and you haven't heard about TapTapSend, is an app that you can use to send money to Africa and Asia without any transfer charges. So I will recommend for you to download it today, and I know you will love it. A lot of people are talking about it. Today, when you go to Africa, that's the app that everybody is talking about it. That's the app everybody is using to send money back home. I've got Director Koku Mauto with us on the line, reporting from Ghana. Director Mauto, good evening to you. Director Koku Mauto, good evening to you. I know you are on the line. All right, I will try and see if I can connect him back again. But before that, let's go to our growth lead manager, Kofi Ejay. Dave, good evening.
Good evening, Prince.
Can you hear me?
I think it might be afternoon or what? Is it evening in
Malto's
America?
back.
Malta is back. Okay, let's go to Director Malta. Koku, and then you may want to say, well, your line is not. Yeah. I can see you, but I can't hear you. Maybe I can hear you now. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we try now?
Yeah, it's better
Okay.
now. It's better now.
That's
Fantastic.
fine. A very good evening to all of you. Good evening, Pa. A very good evening from Ghana. Ghana is very hot. I hope you're all doing well wherever you are in the world, and I hope you've had a good day.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Darrell. My name is Darrell Kokumal Abraham. I am a son of P. I was born at 37 Village Hospital. I lived in Medina Firestone all my life. I went to taps and can you still hear me?
My name is Calibos. The only boss with one S. Happy new month to all of you. Welcome to a month.
Let's crack on.
Do you know why life has been made so easy? It's because of TapTapSend. People, TapTapSend is here to make your life easy if you want to transfer money to Ghana. If you want to transfer from USA, if you want to transfer from UK, Europe, Canada, a lot of places all to Ghana. And guess what? When it comes to Ghana, there's no e-levy charge.
So, what are you waiting for? Download TapTapSend on Google Play Store and App Store and be ready for exciting offers coming your way each time, every time on TapTapSend.
TapTapSend. Send more, spend less.
Yo, Director Mauto ne line no endi boy and intino yebeko na yakofa US growth lead.
I'll just need a drink.
My mentor.
Medium.
Right now, good evening. Good evening to Obia, all our listeners. Yeah, the Masipa numerous and much me about joining. I did back on many Can we?
I have to mute Mauto so that we can carry on. Kofi,
Yeah, director Mauto, yeah, small connect, or connecting issues got crazy or crap, bench of baby Sandra and Bill. But send up kind, and then we're very happy for today's show. Miankas, I have a personal connection to this today's episode because Sebi you took on Quamonia, you could TV free need this Kakofie. Inti Adebako Benjamin was do for your and so I thought assassin. Then ya father so I thought assassin age watching up once a mamba. So that's one of the things that we're discussing today. Amongst many things, and I mean, we're coming back with something. What's going on with Tap Send? I say, it's really my doing him that age. I mean, answer my purpose. To say, today in today's Tap Send, we aggressively pushing through the market across different verticals. So obviously in the US, Canada, UK, Europe, we're growing aggressively thanks to the support from this base. First of all. Secondly, every week, Biano, Moba number T as America, any yaw no my cost to say you have issues you're pending or not pending. We're here to listen. And then show an idea. Hey, we're doing it for you guys and all of you, but our main focus is to focus around land ownership and the litigation around Ghana. And then we have two very important guests with us. We have Richmond Korley, Esquire, associate at Derry & Co. legal practitioners. And also we also have Reverend Titus Tetenano, Chief Marketing Consultant at Zion City Estates. In the end, and they show in the bed, in party, near your party, we know about it. And was for Yadamasi.
Yo, Dave, you better say, and you, we are not going to waste much time. We want to introduce our guests like David already. I've introduced them. So, Reverend Titus and lawyer Richmond, more honoma, mimamo, ajuma mwakaba, and you, ebejumediso. Motiminka, unmute yourself and please let's hear from you. Reverend and lawyer Richmond.
Yes, sir. Good evening. And good evening to your listeners. It's good to be here again. And thanks for the opportunity. We trust you're all doing well. Yafe Muntia and Momragana, Montamragana.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you too for joining us once again. I mean, we had an awesome time with you the last time you joined us, and we are happy to have you back once again. And Reverend, you will be the best person to introduce lawyer to us. You've been on this show before, so most of us, we know you. And I mean, you've been a very good friend of lawyer Richmond. Who is lawyer Richmond?
Well, first of all, let me say that lawyer Richmond is a good friend, and he's a lawyer, as you said earlier. Growing up, I've met a lot of people because of my profession, because of what I do, both as a pastor and as a marketing professional. And along the journey, I met him first as a pastor, a co-pastor. He's a leader of New Relief International and a member of the Methodist Church, Ghana. He's into the youth ministry. But then on the professional side, he's an astute lawyer, right? He's an astute lawyer. And he deals more around you know. So you know that in Ghana, and the next moment you want to develop assassinana and honsem bebre. So when we spoke, I looked within the circle, and then I realized that he's the best person to come on the show to speak to us. So tonight we have him. He's a family man. He's married with 2 beautiful children, and I think tonight we have a good resource who will be speaking to us. So without speaking so much, let me hand over to you, Prince, and then let me also invite lawyer to speak to us. Lawyer, if you are online, please.
A very good evening to you, lawyer Richmond. It doesn't seem like we have him online, or he's not connected. And I said, what's going on?
Well, Richmond, I believe you're on mute.
Hello, guys.
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Good evening, lawyer. How are you doing this evening?
I'm good, by God's grace.
Oh, awesome. Finally. Okay. So, yeah. Reverend Titus have said a lot about you. We've heard a lot about you. We've read a lot about you. And I love I love one message that I heard you preach. It's online, and I said to myself, wow.
I would like to get some land
can somebody handle that one for me at the back end, please? Let's carry on. Tonight we want to talk about land ownership in Ghana. One of the things that a lot of people in the diaspora are quite concerned about is about land ownership. It has its own issues. Sometimes when we come to Ghana, we don't have that enough time to do our due diligence before we acquire a land. By the time we come back again, somebody have built a property on it. It becomes court issue. We don't have time to go to court in Ghana.
Really?
Everything. Lawyer, talk
Yes,
to us.
sir.
When it comes to land ownership in Ghana, what do we need to know? What do we have to do before getting into it?
Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, Nana. And let me say a very good evening to all the people who have joined us tonight. And then make a trick, a crab, I'm a papa.
Engineer
I'll blend the tree with the English.
That's fine.
Basically, and then the presentation I made, and then what I'm doing today, I'm going to look at the 10 commandments of land acquisition in Ghana. Now, basically, what I'll do today, I'm not going to do a very strict legal presentation. I'm going to talk about law for the ordinary person, law in the layman's language. Everybody will understand what I'm coming to talk about. So those of us who have legal backgrounds, I'm not going to talk legal jargons. And then your courts now, I'm going to explain to you important things that you need to know if you want to acquire land in Ghana. And one of the things we should all bear in mind is that I will be speaking in relation to the law of Ghana. So I'm looking at property.
Albert Fingernoodle here. I ordered it like Grandpa's breathing machine. And it's
yes, Nana, the very first thing I'm going to say, I'll tell some few stories. Land is very good investment. Today, I went to court. And when I closed from court, I was speaking to a lawyer who is senior to me. And I was asking him, that senior, what would you advise that we invest in? He said, Richmond, please invest in land. And he was telling me that he bought a landed property somewhere last year, renovated it, and kept it for less than a year. And he sold it for twice the price. He bought it and so land is very good investment, but there are a number of things you have to if you don't pay attention to them, you end up buying litigation for yourself. So today I'm going to run us through 10 things we have to pay attention to when it comes to acquiring land in Ghana. Nana, if I may proceed, let me start with number one.
Yeah, I can go on.
The very first thing I want to talk about, if you want to buy land, I'm talking about land, bare land, and landed property. So I'm talking about land and buildings. If you want to buy land in Ghana, the very first thing you should look out for is that you should visit the place more than once. You don't visit a place for the very first time and then you buy it. No. Many a time, if you buy land on the very first visit, the person who wants to sell the place to you will take you to the land. If the person takes you to the land, after you've left, pay an independent visit to the place. Visit the land. If it's a land, whatever it is, visit there on your own after the first visit. If you go there and people come and confront you, they say, hey, now once you will know that there are issues around the land. I want to teach you practical things that you can do to avoid litigation. So you don't visit the land for just the very first time and end up buying the land. You should visit the place more than once. And you should visit there alone. Don't visit with the person who is selling the land to you after the first visit. Go there on your own. Visit the place. Go there. If you're on the land and people come and confront you, people come there and ask you, what are you doing here? People come there, tell you, if you come here again, we'll kill you. You know there are issues with the land. Also, you know, got litigation amount. So that's the very first point, point number one. And that will lead us to this very second point. The second point is that when buying property, make sure that you talk to people who own the adjoining lands, your neighbors. If you are buying property, when you visit the place, talk to the people who own the adjoining lands. Ask them questions. Oh, this land, who does it belong to? This building, who owns it? Is there any problem around it? Have you seen any scaffold? Is there any issue around the land? So you need to visit the place and talk to neighbors. Talk to the neighbors around the place. Once you speak with the neighbors, you will know if there are issues. If you notice there are issues, you should be very careful when you are dealing with such a property. Because litigations in Ghana, they take very long. Let me tell you one thing. When I became a legal practitioner in 2013, somewhere in 2014, I was given a case to do. It's a land matter. And this is land in a very prime area in Ghana. The land matter started in 2003. And I took over the matter in 2014. So the case had traveled for more than 10 years before I took over the matter in 2014. When I took over the matter in 2014, judgment was given in the matter in 2020. So the case traveled for 17 long years before judgment was delivered. And strangely, after we got judgment and we got the assistance of the police to go and take possession over the land, when we went onto the land, somebody had dug a foundation on the land and the person was going to do a story building. So I told my client, are you ready to litigate for the next 5 years again? So we called the person, we told the person, we have a judgment over the land, we can litigate, but let's talk. So we talked and we ended up selling the land to the person. We sold it a little below what we could have sold on the open market, but it was better for us. So sometimes you should be very careful. Take time when you're buying land, visit the place, not once. Visit there alone, talk to neighbors around the place. Ask them who owns the property, find out whether there are issues surrounding the property that you want to buy. And I'll move on to point number 3. I want to do the presentation very quickly, and then I can take questions. The third point is that make sure that you conduct a search at the Lands Commission. Don't buy land without conducting an official search on the land. The search will tell you everything you need to know about the land. It will tell you who was the first to register it. It will tell you who presently owns the land. And the search will let you know if the person you are dealing with is the actual owner of the land. Make sure you conduct an official search. Very, very important. If you don't conduct an official search, you are not a diligent buyer. Conduct an official search, get a site plan. And what I normally do for my clients is that I will normally not rely on the site plan the one selling the land will give to us. I will engage my own surveyor. We move onto the land. We pick the coordinates ourselves. We draw our own site plan, and we use our site plan to conduct our search. That's what I do for clients who engage me to do due diligence. I don't even rely on the seller's site plan. So ensure that you conduct a search on the land. It is very, very important. And do a search at the Lands Commission. Let me move to point number 4. Point number 4 also, there's a place you should also check. It's called the Collateral Registry of the Bank of Ghana. Yeah, it's a new thing. There's a law called the Borrowers and Lenders Act. There's an institution created called the Collateral Registry. Normally when people go for loans and things, and they use properties as collateral, it is registered at the Collateral Registry of the Bank of Ghana. So it is prudent also to do a search at the Collateral Registry of the Bank of Ghana. And you can do the search online. It can be done online. So beyond doing a search at Lands Commission, ensure that you conduct a search also at the Collateral Registry of the Bank of Ghana. Let me move to point number 5. I'm running very fast so that when I'm done, I can have enough time to take all the questions that you have.
Awesome.
Now let me move to payments. Now you have done your search. You moved onto the land. You talk to neighbors. You are sure that the person you are dealing with owns the land. You've done a search at the Lands Commission. You've done an official search at the Lands Commission. You've checked with the Collateral Registry. You are ready. You've seen that the land has no encumbrance on it. Now you want to do payment for the land. How do you go about payment? When it comes to paying for landed property, I always advise my clients to pay through the bank. Don't do cash transactions. That's my advice. You may not find this in any law book, but I always advise my clients to pay through the bank. Why do I advise my clients to pay through the bank? So there is documentary trail. Tomorrow, if there is an issue, there are documents to show that we made payment into this bank account. Sometimes there are issues. Somebody may even have given you a receipt. But you'd be surprised that they would deny ever giving you a receipt, and they will even deny the signature on the receipt. So what I do is that I advise my clients, let's do a bank transfer, or let's deposit the money into the person's bank account. When it comes to paying for land, let's avoid cash transactions as much as possible. Pay through the bank. Do a bank transfer. Even if you have cash, go and pay into the person's bank account. There will always be documentary trail. If there's a problem tomorrow, we have documents, we can rely on them. And this will take me to point number 6. Point number 6. When you are paying for land, and I'm on payment, make sure that you pay the money to the actual owner. Sometimes there will be agents. Sometimes there's a middleman who you are dealing with. If you want to do payment for the land, the payment should go to the actual owner of the land. If the middleman or the agent wants to receive payments, ensure that they have been duly authorized in writing. Ask to see a power of attorney or ask to see some authorization in writing. Be very sure. What normally happens is that sometimes the middlemen and the agents, they receive the payments and the payments don't get to the actual owners. So sometimes you think you paid for the land, and before you notice, the actual owner saying that I've received nothing from you. So ensure that when you are doing payment for land, the payment should go to the actual owner. The person the search discloses owns the land, pay to that person. If you want to deal with an agent, ensure that the agent has been duly authorized in writing. See a power of attorney or any other thing that should guide you on this. Let me move to point number 7. Maybe after point number 7, I could take some few questions if there are questions, if there are some, before I proceed. And sometimes when you're paying for land, you pay by installments. Anytime at all there is an installment payment, ensure that there's a contract of sale. At the very least, ensure that whatever agreement you have is reduced into writing when you have to pay by installments. When there's installment payment for land, ensure that there is a contract of sale. Why am I telling you this? Sometimes you are buying land, maybe you are paying the person 300,000 Ghana cedis. And the person says, okay, pay it in 12 installments or 10 installments over 10 months. You pay your first 5 installments and you're on the 6th installment. Maybe by the 6th month, the price of the land has gone up. The person now realizes that he can sell the same parcel of land for 500,000. Somebody's offering 500,000 for the land. What do? They will offer to refund your money to you. They'll tell you they don't want to proceed again. And they will offer to give you back what you have paid. So if you are doing installment payment, please ensure that it's a contract of sale. It is to secure you. It's to ensure that you are not cheated, to ensure that your back is properly covered. So whenever you are doing installment payment, ensure that there is a contract of sale, or at the very least, whatever you've agreed with the person, put it into writing. So I've run through 7 things you should pay attention to. And all I'm trying to do, I'm trying to help you to avoid litigation, because litigation is very expensive. I'm a lawyer. It's very expensive, not just in terms of money, but in terms of time. You can be in court for 5 years. I don't think I've done any land trial that has traveled lesser than 3 years. I don't think I've done one. The shortest I have done should be about 3 years for land trials. And sometimes you finish the trial, maybe at the High Court, before you notice there's an appeal. An appeal is going to take you another 2 years, the Court of Appeal. Before you notice there's another appeal to the Supreme Court, that's another 2 years. So give and take 7 years. Do you have that time? So all I'm trying to do is to help you to avoid litigation as much as possible. Please visit the land, point number 1. And don't visit once. Visit the place. You are buying a property. Visit the place. The person selling to you takes you there. Go there on your own. Go and talk to neighbors. Find out from the neighbors who owns this parcel of land, who owns this property. Very, very important. Make sure you conduct a search at the Lands Commission. Do another search also at the collateral registry to ensure that the land is not encumbered. There's no encumbrance on the land. Because if you fail to do a search, whatever a search would have disclosed, you are deemed in law to know. So if you fail to do a search and the search would have disclosed, you are deemed to know. So ensure that you conduct a search. When it comes to paying for land, please let's avoid cash transactions as much as possible. Do bank transfers. And if you are paying land, you are paying installments, ensure that it is put into, have a contract or sale, or if there's no contract, at least something basic to show that I'm buying this identifiable land at this price and I'm paying over 10 months and I'm paying this amount every month or every quarter. Ensure that it is reduced into writing. And as much as possible, make sure that you are paying to the actual owner of the land. If you are dealing with an agent or a middleman, please ensure there should be an authorization. So Nana, I have done my first 7 points. If there are questions, I will come back to Nana. I'll take the questions and then I can come back and continue.
All right, cool. I would say for lawyer adding the 7 points out of the 10 commandments, no, or the Amayen. So if you have any question, this is the time. Maybe any other question be relating to land issues in Ghana, lawyer is prepared and ready to answer all your questions.
Lawyer, I have a question.
On the Zoom, just raise your hands up and I will call you. So let me take Ima first. Ima, Bacho, unmute yourself and ask your question. Ima, go ahead and ask your question.
Lawyer Kasano Okase, visit the land, which is very good. But my question is, search, I would say there will be most of the lands in Ghana. Like, for example, I can give you a typical example is like Alaji, Tabola, Elia. Most of the lands over there, you are not dining for so many years. But we call search, government instruments, and that's all. Meanwhile, so when we say nipa na ote hono watena ho baba 50 years ho anomote. Eno nso sa no so lawyer ye be ye ne den.
Okay, Ima, Maminfa, one more question. Can lawyer?
Hello. And I'm sorry, if you could,
go ahead and answer him. Then I'll
if you could repeat the question, I missed a part of the question.
All right. Imam Pacho, repeat your question for us again.
Okay, yeah, lawyer, then I can say most of the lands in Ghana no be a government instrument. Typical example, Tabola, Alaji, Neho no. Your house should be okra. It has been there for like 40 years. To say oh to search, I government instruments and that's all. Ebasa answer. Let me say, but let's say government assassin. Into Ebasa san yebeni saying.
Okay. Nana, I don't know if I can answer this question.
Yeah, go ahead and answer this question.
If you do a search, and a search in say a government acquired land, maybe it's acquired by an executive instrument. Say the proper person was on top a government lands commission. It means that ubi be obema on krata no sasa register. My next point about is on registration. So it means that if you go ahead and buy that land, you can't register that land unless you go to the lands commission. So-called lands commission sometimes before a member of government leaves, they will make you pay again. So what I would advise you, they say, so yes, search, now say where a government assassin, you notice the government land. Make sure that you go to lands commission. Sometimes there's some money to pay there. And whatever, what the money panel, you deduct from it. Because any panel in Krata, it won't go through. It's only the government through lands commission on that land. So once you do a search and it shows the way a government assesses, the proper party to deal with is the government.
Thank you. Let's move on to Mighty. Mighty, unmute yourself and ask your question, please.
Jesus. Yeah, just want to find out from a lawyer. So what is the highest document that you can obtain to be able to legally own the land you bought? I'm saying this because there are many ways you can register your land, but I just want to know the highest one, like the one that no one can challenge it. Thank you.
All right. Let me add one more to it, then lawyer will answer the two questions. And I know lawyer will be moving on to land registration, so he will definitely talk about that more. So let's move on to Nab. Nab, please unmute yourself and ask a question.
Okay. Thank you. I want to find out, I came a little bit late, but I want to find out if you're buying from estate developers, how do you go about it, please?
If you're buying from
the estate developers.
Estate developers, okay.
Sometimes I don't know how to go about, because sometimes you pay the estate developers, and then later on you have the stool or the the owners of the land disturbing you whilst you're building.
Okay, cool. Let's take these two questions and we will add one more to it. Then lawyer will move on to land registration. Then you ask all the questions that we need to ask about land. Lawyer.
Okay, Nana. Let me answer the very first question on what is the highest you can get. It's a land certificate. If you watch the new Land Act 2020, what you can get is a land certificate. But you see, in law, we say it's an indefeasible. There are exceptions. As I'm talking now, I'm in court challenging some land certificates. And there are some matters I've handled. I've gone to court to have land certificates cancelled. So the highest one you can get is what we call the land certificate. We refer to the land title certificate. Either land certificate, land title certificate. That title can still be challenged. It's a state guarantee title. But there are some exceptions, like on grounds of fraud, it can be annulled. On grounds of mistake. So even though land certificate is the highest, so there are some few exceptions that we can go to court and have the land certificate cancelled or annulled. I hope I've answered his question now.
Yes.
Let me move to estate developers. When you are dealing with estate developers, the same thing, ensure that you conduct a search on the land. One of the things we are noticing is that some of the estate developers, when they buy the land from the chiefs, some of them don't register the land in their name. So sometimes you conduct a search and the land is not in the name of the estate developer. The land is still in the name of the chiefs. The problem with this is that the chiefs can go and sell the land to a different person. Other times, the estate developers will register the land in their name, but you notice that they have not fully paid the chiefs. If the land is registered in the name of the estate developer, you are safe, especially if they have a land certificate and they will do a transfer to you. If even they do not pay the chiefs, what the chiefs will do is that they have to sue them. They will sue them to recover whatever is outstanding, but the chiefs cannot exercise a right of re-entry into the land. So to conduct a search, very important. People think search is but search is a legal document. Search is very, very important because the search will tell you everything you need to know about the land. So if even you are dealing with an estate developer, still go ahead and conduct a search. The search will tell you whether the land is in the name of the estate developer or the land is still in the name of the chiefs. If it's the name of the estate developer, to a large extent, you are safe. If it's still in the name of the chiefs, you have a problem because it means that the chiefs can go back and sell it to a third party. So still conduct a search when you are dealing with estate developers. Thank you.
All right, let me add Ima to it. Ima, unmute yourself and ask your question, and we will allow lawyer to proceed with land registration.
All right. Thank you very much, lawyer, and thank you, host. So you've been talking about search. How do you conduct the search? How do you go about it? One, and the second, when it comes to the search, what about a virgin land? I mean, if the land is fresh, nobody has used it and things like that. Is it the same process? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, lawyer. I think you pick Hima, then we will allow you to move on to land registration.
Thank you so much, Nana.
But let me ask this question too. Do we have a virgin land in Ghana?
Land, when you conduct a search, it will state no recorded transaction. There are still lands like that.
That is called veg.
Maybe in a very loose sense.
Okay.
But when it comes to search, if you want to conduct search on any parcel of land, you need a site plan for that land. So whoever is selling the land will give you a site plan. If the person does not have a site plan, then you have to get a surveyor to go and pick the land and draw a site plan. So you present the site plan to Lands Commission. There are some forms you go through. Now you can even do it online. So there's a system now you can conduct your search online. When the results are ready, they'll send it to you by email. So Lands Commission has upgraded. So now you can do your searches online. So that is basically how to do a search. The important thing with a search is a site plan. You should have a site plan clearly showing the demarcations of the land. And then the Lands Commission will tell you all the recorded transactions affecting that land. And the second part of the question is with virgin lands, loose terms. Normally, sometimes you do a search and the results will say no recorded transaction. I always tell people those lands, you should be very careful. It tells you that in the records of Lands Commission, there's no transaction that has been recorded on that land. If somebody wants to sell that land to me, what I will let you do is that first go and register it. And let me be sure that your registration will go through. Then you can do a transfer to me. That's what I advise. If you say the land is yours, it clearly states there's no recorded transaction. If you still say the land is yours, I'll tell you, okay, you know what? Put it first into your name. Ensure that Lands Commission will acknowledge that you are the owner. Once your registration goes through, then you can do a transfer to me. That's what I advise on virgin lands or the ones you see no recorded transaction. And I thank you.
Thank you. We will move on to land registration. And somebody was asking, can you assist us or can you help us to have a link to Lands Commission site where we can do the search online? Maybe, if not now, if you can.
Oh, yes, I can get that for you. Maybe not presently, but I can get that for you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, can we move on to land registration? I bought land, I want to register my land. We've been told so many stories, the processes that you go through, sometimes the money that you have to pay, you pay all this money and the land will not be registered and all that. How can we register a land in Ghana?
In Ghana, okay. And I thank you very much. You see, normally when it comes to land registration, okay, what you do is that when you buy land, after you've done payment, ensure that you are given what we loosely call indenture. The lawyer will tell you deed of conveyance. The person should give you an indenture or a deed of conveyance. This is very important. Don't buy land and leave the person to go without giving you a deed of conveyance. It's a deed of conveyance that you use for registration. So the person will give you an indenture. In layman's language, we say indenture. When you take the indenture the person has given to you, what happens is that you will now present the indenture to the Lands Commission for registration. It's a long process. It's quite some process. You present it there, you take it there, it will go for stamping. The Land Valuation Division will assess stamp duty on the land. You pay the stamp duty. Once you pay the stamp duty, it will be stamped. It has an administrative process it goes through. So it will go through the process. They are going to check who sold the land to you, whether the person owns the land. So it will go for searches. When it shows that the person who sold the land to you is the actual owner of the place, it will go for plotting. They are going to plot it for you. And they will come back to inspect the land. They will come to be sure that you are the person who is in actual occupation of the land. There's a point they will do publication in the newspaper. There'll be a publication so that if somebody has an interest, what we call a caveat, the person wants to caveat the issuance of your land certificate, we give the person the chance to caveat. So there'll be a publication in the newspaper. If nobody caveats and you go through this process successfully, Then finally, the Lands Commission will issue you a land certificate. As I've summarized the process in a nice way, but this simple process could take you years. It could take you years. It could take you years. But this is the process. It all starts with your deed of conveyance or your indenture. So please, if you buy land, don't only take receipts. Ensure that you are given a deed of conveyance and indenture. The indenture, the indenture will have your site plan. The person who is selling it to you will sign the indenture. There'll be witnesses. There's a place called recital. It will tell you the history of the land. There are covenants in the indenture. The indenture will tell you the ground rent you're supposed to pay, the covenants, what you have to do, things that if you don't do, then the person can re-enter. So the indenture is like a legal document. It tells you everything, the contract you have with your grantor that the person selling to you is all captured in the deed of conveyance or the indenture. So please ensure that you are given an indenture when you buy land and you do the registration with the indenture. Sometimes the registration will not go through. Sometimes the registration doesn't go through. And let me quickly tell you some of the reasons it doesn't go through. Sometimes somebody may caveat. Sometimes when Lands Commission is going through the process, they may notice that there's a judgment against your grantor. Sometimes while they are going through their process, they may even notice that the person who sold it to you is not the rightful person to sell to you. Other times you may buy land from a family. Maybe when I have time, I will talk about buying lands from families. If you buy land from a family, maybe the person who signed for you is not a proper head of family. Maybe the witness, the one who signed, the one who sold the land to you is not the head of family. So other family members will caveat, saying that the one who has sold the land to you has not been properly appointed as the head of family. So sometimes your registration will not go through. But that's why I tell people that, you see, if you are paying for land, pay through the bank. If somebody sells a land to you and eventually you don't get the land, you can sue the person to recover your money. Very important. If you sell land, normally when you are selling land, one of the covenants is a covenant of ownership. The covenant of ownership is that you own the land. You can't sell to me something you do not own. So by agreeing to sell or lease a parcel of land to me, there is an implied covenant of ownership. If tomorrow it turns out that you do not own the land, I have a right to sue you to recover whatever I have given you with interest. And that is where we will need documents to show what you have paid. That's why I always insist that pay for land through the bank. Don't do tabletop payment, under table payment. Please do your bank transfers when it comes to paying for land. So in summary, I have run us through the process of doing your land registration. So you do your land registration with the Lands Commission. If you go to some parts of the country, there's no land certificates. In some regions, presently, they don't issue what we call land title certificates. So it's a normal deed registration. Sorry if I'm trying to find words I can use. You go to some regions, you just have to do a normal deed registration. In some regions, you can register the land in 3 weeks. Some places within a month, the registration is done. The problem we have is normally in Greater Accra. Greater Accra is a problem. But you go to some regions, within 1 month, the registration is done. Because some regions, they don't do the land title certificate, the land title. They will just do a normal deed registration, and it is good. So this is a process of doing your land registration. I think when questions come, I can handle all of this.
Other areas.
Something very quickly to it, Nana, and then maybe from there we can take more questions. Okay.
Sure.
One of the very important things I want to talk about is that when you buy land, please take possession of the land. Very important. Very, very important. Let me share this story. I helped somebody, I advised somebody to buy a parcel of land. We did our search at the Lands Commission. It showed that the person who was selling the land to him was the actual owner of the land. We prepared the deed of conveyance. It was signed. We went ahead, registered the deed of conveyance. We went through the process. Everything was registered. And as we speak, the land is the name of the person. But the person failed to go into possession of the land. And other people have gone to encroach on the land. One of the issues we are having is that people buy land and they leave it vacant too long. So to us, please move onto the land. You don't have money to develop. Put something up on the land. By taking possession of the land, you are giving notice to everybody that somebody is on this land. There's somebody on the land. But sometimes people will buy land and leave it there bare. You go there, there's nothing on the land. If you buy land, you can't do it. At least put some strips of stones there. Put some blocks there. Try and wall the place. Don't leave land vacant for too long. Because one of the things we are noticing that in Ghana, the price of land is going up all the time. It doesn't make sense. You can buy land this year for 100,000. Give yourself 6 months, the same land is selling for 200,000. And sometimes the person who has sold the land to you for 100,000, realizing that now he can sell the same land at 200,000, refund you 100,000, maybe even give you a tip of 20,000. We'll go back and sell it. If you buy land, please make sure that you develop the land. One of the issues you're having that people buy land, they leave it there before you notice somebody else has developed, and we have to litigate. If you go to the land courts, just in Accra alone, we have 11 high courts purposely for land litigation. 11. If you go to the new court complex, there are 11 courts, 11 high courts, then the land division, 11 courts for assassin mansutri. So to assassin, now I'm going we are, that's our work. If you leave it there, we have to trim manson. Maybe before I leave, I'll give you an idea of how much it costs to litigate on land. It's very expensive. So sometimes you have to choose. Do you want to pay a lawyer to litigate, or do you use that same money to develop the land? If you buy bare land, please develop the land. Whatever it is, wall the place, do something on the land to avoid needless litigation. And I will end here, and then I'll take questions. Thank you.
Yes, I know a lot of people have a lot of questions to ask today. If you buy a land, possess it, own the land. Lawyer, I've heard that say ubi etwasase na omobi tinaso for a number of years. Now after 10 years, that person who have been on the land can own the land. Can you tell us a bit more about that? Then I'll ask more people to ask.
Okay. In law, the term we call it adverse possession. It is 12 years, but it's not as easy as you have said it.
Okay.
It's not say woman obit now. If so, be what the person is there with your permission. Don't me fast, But what the law says is that who assassin, obia kwasas, there's somebody on the land. The person is on the land for 12 years. Somebody you have not put there. Somebody who is adversely possessing the land. The person stays on the land for 12 continuous years, and you don't say anything. Meanwhile, you know the person is on your land. After 12 years in law, you are stopped from coming to say that the land is yours. So that is adverse possession. So the person has taken your land by adverse possession. So it is 12 years. And it's not say your caretaker. If your caretaker is there, your caretaker is there on your license or with your permission. He cannot adversely possess your land. But we are talking about somebody who you have not put there. Somebody who is not there as your caretaker, the person is not there as your licensee or any other thing. The person stays on the land for 12 continuous years, and you keep quiet. After 12 years, there's adverse possession. You are deemed that the person has adversely possessed your land. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Let's go on Zoom now to pick a few more questions this evening. Kuz, please go ahead and ask your question.
Nana Medasi, mommy, with a wow, quick questions, Afro from the US. The person who asked question say normally in Ghana, there are quite had say over land na the seller na say owners no be catch say yeah, about 2 years now. Why the baby was why a better land? The person is big kind of say no AMRA. Say AMRA, a do a hoswa, a check and son I said they all can say do a title and sacran albecan about 2 years. It is a mekoto land. Na owner catch me say a do 2 years na man baby a better land in a friend. Meanwhile, to get the registration a bit and all legally will tell people and answer myself say I am the right owner of the land and also and more ebia sometime within the 2 years. A quite bear na me faswa metimi aye bibi waswa. One, mania possession through legal means by having a document that proves say a media. Now first metimi prevent honestness say so far as ya documents now say documentation chase land near media and they can really repossess the land because metua awi. And I feel so me the baby so indenture no be person busa say buyer no necessary otuaka and I say no there it should be just part of the transaction say utua land make career dia indenture no necessary owner na all turn land necessary or the amount the question no.
Yo, lawyer, we a question I will move me into mema kwano why ya no my but me try some fa nipa mienu mi ensa ansa no ya no. Lawyer, go ahead.
Okay. So very quickly, the first question we call the right of re-entry. Say what was as amount, let's say 2 years said develop. So remember 2 years and in indenture also. The indenture should have expressly provided for it. It should have been clear in the indenture. Say, as I say, we are autonomous. You see, a lot of people buy land, they don't read the indenture, the deed of conveyance. The deed of conveyance is very important. It is your contract you have with your grantor on the terms and conditions that governs the purchase of the land. So if the deed of conveyance states that you should develop the land within 2 years, if you fail to develop the land within 2 years, the grantor can exercise what we call the right of re-entry. So if the deed is saying 2 years, it means that within 2 years, you should do some form of development on it. If not, the grantor can re-enter. But normally, there are some conditions to re-enter. One of it, sometimes also will notice. Then the indenture will provide for it that they have to notify you that the 2 years is up, you have not developed. So they are serving you maybe 1 month notice to remedy it. If not, they will exercise their right of re-entry. So the re-entry there, it is normally in the indenture. If it's not provided for, they cannot come in. But if the indenture provides for the right of re-entry, then they can come back if you don't develop their land. That's the answer for the first question. Let me move on to the second question on the issue of the indenture. So who provides the indenture? Those ones, it's the agreement you have with your grantor. Some of the grantors, under normal circumstances, it's the grantor who should give you the indenture. That's the problem. You know the history of that, you have the papers. You should provide everything I need for the land. So generally, it is the grantors who are supposed to do the indenture for you. But sometimes some of the grantors will tell you, okay, Konakobo indenture, and then I'll sign for you. So it is an agreement between you and your grantor. But generally, the grantor provide the indenture.
Thank you very much. Maminfa Theodora, then Namidi Tina Commodore, and so Eddie Atuaso. Theodora and Tina Commodore.
Okay. Theodora Memendi Kankasa.
Yeah.
Meto as I say last 2 years, yeah. Na problems in Tina Mempese meto like me discover mo be so as I say just like that because me to me home so. So what happened is so be catcher me say estate agent for be air to assassin. So I thought say it was safe because estate agent for the just change of name. Me ko peke land no Emma me ko search but search no ma anya ntem ye ko e almost say me ma bantem nti no oma ton sa land no so am obi nti me nsa am peke foforo. And I'm sako peke for. It also took a long time and sana results never out. But then now influence here say yen koto materials in begusu. We can't just leave it like that. Into me koto abobane netie nyina beguso. My problem say later on ye any part mienu ne koto asase. The others came back to me and say it's a problem be aba asase no ho estate agents no I relocate to Omo. But maybe because of say massive BBS they can't really locate me. To many agents ne kasa say what's going on? And all person or me say I him for no yes so mo yen nyoma bi na Omo the my estate agent for na omo aye yom hu bi na etire ye na aye abeto asase ye ho akotire ntino because of that or the omo court. But me we hu se me ye madwuma nti me nkoso ana menye. Now my problem is me search no resource e ba ye ni me ntiase. Menye obi ansa ma na nkyere ma se ye. O say number 1, o say persuade to your application dated blah 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 made by Theodora Babio. A search has been made against the land delineated on the plan attached with the following resource. And almost say whole site PVLMD, not state land. And at least dated 24th blah 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 from Enomabo Hinibidin to Netas Properties and INV Limited. No, my note before the site falls within the Ningo lands. Into Oma Betra, you SMND say affected by a conflict application for My Time Global Reality Company Limited with reference number, and they've provided a reference number and regional blah blah blah. Affected by a conflict application for
Theodora, sorry, I'm yes, may step in, but it's a time. Looking at your case, I think it will be prudent or advisable saying Kaobe lawyer ne contact so that maybe after we obinya time at least we emra ehwasem na woni ne kan ebi bla bla no eho na ebi obetimi apeke points every no advice so bla 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 na ma intimesre enka be possible enka obe ne short amine. Now, wife lawyer contact so that you contact him later on so that he can advise you properly. What do you think?
I think sir mention a number because now me person who's the way no omo person mo chasing.
Because blah 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 no lawyer and no with me answer.
Me follow up but then no major number later me free.
Fantastic. Lawyer, we'll be very grateful if you can put your contact details in the chat room for us so that people who would like to contact you will pick it up then contact you afterwards. Otherwise, blah blah blah.
Okay, I'll put my number there. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Intimbacho Obefa Yanko Tina Commodore. Tina.
Yeah, hello, good evening. Mine is just straightforward and simple. I'm just wondering if you have a land and the government take possession of it, what will happen? Will you get the land back or would you get a compensation? And if not, how would you go about it, claiming your land back?
Thank you. Straightforward. Yeah, Yanko.
Okay. On your question, if government takes over your land, entitled to compensation. Government cannot take over land without paying adequate compensation. So if the government takes over your land, sometimes government can exercise what we call the right of eminent domain. Government makes me if it's taking it in the public interest. So once they take over your land, you're entitled to compensation. If the government does not compensate you, look for a lawyer, go to court. They will have to compensate you. They take your land. Unless the land taken is already government land, but it is your private property and they exercise their right of eminent domain, they have to pay adequate compensation. Thank you.
Thank you. Yemfa Ima any Boatin and Twaso. Ima, please go ahead.
Medafe Bibre. My question had to do with the indenture stuff, the deed of conveyance. For example, in the deed of conveyance, almost indicated say as I see way you are using it for building and residence. Building and residence. And I'm a person maybe a lawyer. Building and residence. What is the difference? Because from the explanation, problem I say I do the sit down and then I'll bet any other thing is disallowed. But from the indenture, these two statements, building and residence. So we just need some clarification. The second question, quick one, is a friend bought a land, they did the indenture, and then they submitted a copy at the High Court in the Central Region, Ghana Central Region. I want to find out What is that about? Indenture submitted at the High Court for it to be stamped and one kept there. What does that mean? Thank you.
All right. Yeah. But you're picking it quickly, not yet far back onto us. But you're lawyer. Yes.
Hello. Okay.
Hi.
Yes, Anna. Sorry. So on the question of the residential, no, if you buy land, it could be for either residential or commercial purposes. The indenture state say the land is for residential purposes. Actually, say, untimi go see factory also. You can't use it for commercial purposes. So if your plan is to use the land for commercial purposes, let the indenture reflect. Catch any pan say it should be residential stroke commercial purposes. So it means that it's a mixed use land. You can use it for either residential or you can use it for commercial. But if the indenture says it's residential, it means that you bought it for residential purpose. It stays residential. That is what it means. I'm done with the first one. And then the second question is on the deed of conveyance. Edical court. What is it there? There is something we call oath of proof. On the social deed of conveyance now, say grantor, no? Grantor any panel or transfer, the one selling the land. So, or sign after signing, there's a witness. So the witness swears an oath that indeed is a grantor who signed it. So it is that part where we call the oath that we take to the court for the registrar to stamp. So it means that if tomorrow it is found out that what the witness said is not true, it's not a grantor who signed, it means that the witness, he has lied on oath. It is called perjury. So that is why it goes to the court there for the court to stamp. It's like an oath that is being taken. So the court will put a stamp on it because the registrar of the High Court is also a commissioner of oath. So that is what it is taken there for. But I don't know that they keep a copy. I'm not aware they keep a copy of the document there. That I'm not aware. I know you go there after you pay for it and after the documents are given back to you. So that is why it goes to the court.
Thank you very much. Let's pick Ajiman Boateng. Right after Ajiman Boateng, Gloria Echan. Yemfa Ajiman Boateng first.
Yes, thank you. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Oh, okay. My issue is about because you have to use your land after buying it. So the question is, in terms of use, can I say I am farming on it for the whole period, or when you say you are farming, it's not a use, unless you put a structure on it. So when you say use, what actually do you mean? Can it be any other sense?
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's add Gloria Achan, then Lawyer will answer those two questions for us. Gloria.
Okay, so my question is, with regards to the land, registration of the land, when you were talking, you said something about sometimes the registration taking even longer than 2 years or 3 years. And coming from the owners giving you a condition that you have to do something on the land within this period of time. Okay, so can I still do something on the land, even if I haven't completely registered it yet, since I have a condition to do something on the land within this period?
Thank you. Lawyer.
Okay, let me start with the last question. I think that's a simple one to do. The last question, once you have bought land and you've done your search and you are sure that you bought from the right person, nothing stops you from developing the land. You don't have to wait till you have finished registration. You don't have to. So to assassinate, I say you are developing the land. Nothing stops you from developing. So you can develop while you wait for the registration to go through. But be sure that you have bought it from the right person. And that is what the search is going to reveal. And the first question is on farming, whether farming is use of the land. Yes, definitely. Farming is use of the land. If the zonal permission, if you go to every district assembly, we have lands demarcated for different purposes. If it's been demarcated for farming, you're using for farming, the district has no problem with it. It is use of the land. So farming is use of the land. Use of the land is not only that you have developed, and as a way Sidan also, that is not the only use of the land. but it is very safe to put up a building on it. If you farm on land, they can clear everything on the land. But if you have a building on it, removing the building is very difficult. So building is, to me, is a safer way to protect the land. But farming is.
Somebody can use bulldozer one night to clear everything and put a structure on it. All right, let's move on and pick this one. It comes with an email. Is it, what was the email?
Asare.
Yeah, Asare. Bacho, go ahead and ask your question.
Bacho, Ede, Michia, Tifuina, within the Samasare.
Okay.
Me wo ebusia problem bi kakra na lawyer say obetumi aboa me a eni say yem papa no moto asase bi 69 na what part asase no na dan de da obi siso anche na dan no efi ase bubu yi dan no ribubu no kra no council for no ko me papa panyi no ka je say ne aye na bebu ekumo bi nti onko no bubu fi ho no ko bubu fi ho. About 2 years ago, 2-3 years ago, Obi de containers akozisi dan na ebubu na nemu say ono ne papa tama ne oton asase na ma me papa no o yare na ne papa san yare na wanye sika ntua nti o de dan na ebubu no e de man no oni nga twa man so ono a onkura pepe bia ubisa no se ni pepe sa hɔ nyina ahyew na yɛn nso de ekura yɛn resi a yɛde to asase no na pato lawyer sese yɛgu so retwe ho man so na ɛhɔ kakra na mepɛ advice.
Okay. Lawyer.
Okay. Once assembly court, sometimes it's very difficult to comment directly on matters that are before the court. Once I work court, and I'm sure so a lawyer, we can talk back door.
Okay.
Maybe I will see our court. Our court, they are. Oh, okay. Samuka, if you are talking about it, basically, no. Samuka court on this matter. If I'm a lawyer, I'm for such a case. I want to be sure that what shows that the land is for you. I want to see a document via church assassinate a mudia. If people do not have any document, I'll do a search on the land first. So I'll see how papa did not toy and I own another toy or assassin or your declaration do also or register. Did the person do anything to show that the land is for you? Going to court and yet and it's evidence, it's what you can prove. Court is not about what you can say, but it's what you can prove in court. And if I'm a lawyer picking up such a matter, I'm going to look at the evidence you people have. And that is what would determine that. Then I can give a fair advice on this matter.
2020 no more. And now me first I see cornunti and me a site plan. Me a site plan at the core Kofuridwa. And my almost stamp way and you ama me barcode. Mama me barcode bravo.
Okay.
Actually, say we call food as is here. Over to you, do you know?
No, but more register now. Barcode doesn't mean it's been registered. Barcoded site plan is not registration. So have they registered it?
The person register, but it's indenture. No, Nico be sign indenture. No, just say benefit you know. It I difficult for somebody to sign indenture for us.
Some penny for they are paying now only one. At least nipa like a new person already nadi. So I'm sure that there should be somebody who will sign for you. What I would advise you is say, go ahead and do the registration. Make sure you can get the thing signed and then make sure it is registered in your name. So go ahead and then push with your registration on this matter. Okay. If you give me more details, maybe backdoor, I will be in a better position to advise when I have more details in this transaction. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Then on this note, I would like to put a disclaimer. Say, whatever that we are talking about on this platform this evening It is just for an information purpose. And yet something that you can base on it and say, it's a lawyer, I can say, say. So if you really need advice on any issue on Lander, you can call lawyer afterwards, or you can contact any lawyer for professional advice. But on this platform, it's for information purpose. May that say, yen twaso. Lawyer, obi busa se obede na wahu se documentation lands commission for the airman and I said you din any register the land or lands commissioner man papa.
Documentation and lands commission Eddie Mano. And I said near Okoto Asasi Wanipa the Hono.
Or register the land.
Okay.
One Obi dinanim say oh minimum be or lands commission ye betimi aye near register ma obede no hu say any pay or see wodi nanim documents are what they are man from lands commission papa. Is there any way that we can check?
Okay. Normally, when registration is done and a search is conducted, and the search should show your name. So basically, what registers as well with demo, and I'll call a search and I won't just I didn't register with demo. Maybe our process more. Once registration, registration, the land, any search on the land should reveal your name. If the search does not reveal your name, it means that the thing has not been registered in your name. So OBBI registration or lands commission amount. So see we re-registration now and we do a search now, we should see that parcel of land. If we take that site plan to lands commission now, that portion of land should be in your name. That is how you know that the registration is complete.
Okay. Now, I've done all my registration. Now, Assassin belongs to me. Me call land so yasinkrofobia at the land gas abaso almost say Assassin you be there and I may baso. Yes, I want microphobia from say omun protect area or become digging fee. I mean, how do we deal with all these challenges?
Okay. So share a new land act 2020 act 1036 now. So share when it comes to issues of digging feeling it has been outlawed. It's illegal. What was I say? Nobody can come there and ask you for digging feeling or being to once you bought the land genuinely, nobody can obstruct you in developing the land. So people are saying also how also digging fee, when you are digging fee, the person is going to allow you to develop the land. Report the person to the police. Report the person. We know that it is happening. But if more people start reporting that, gradually, that thing will come down. So if we develop it and somebody comes there and demands digging fee before you continue to develop it, go ahead and report the person to the police.
Thank you. I was here for say now the section Aberry. If you have any question, this is the time that you can ask lawyer. So question be any honor satisfied. Yeah, then mema lawyer I wrap it up. Name lawyer. I think say we have to bring you back again. They say Ghana lands no cry history behind it, saying it here. Family lands, state lands. Say state lands are quite benny befaso and a betting state lands, say family lands are quite benny befaso yenya problems here. I think next week you can take us through that next all right. Ima Amanin so Yemfa Ima, then we will bring the session to an end, then we'll go on to tap send focus section. So Ima, unmute yourself and ask your question.
All right. Thank you once again, lawyer, and then Nana. I would like to find out, say, what was I say? Which year, but on Heneno, for some reason, on person best sign the deed of conveyance, it's been prepared. You've even given him money to do whatever he's supposed to do. Can you go ahead and develop the land just because you've paid and you have your receipt that shows say payments have been made for that land?
Okay, lawyer, pick it. Let me for last one.
This is quite strange. Maybe let me inquire later. Adentina, why would the chief not want to sign the deed of conveyance? No?
Well, the reason they are giving is that it's a family something, and then one of the chiefs is dead, and they must do funeral and all those kind of things.
Wow.
So that's the reason they are giving.
If you are buying such a land, if you haven't paid for the land, I'll tell you, be very careful. Because if you have sold property to me, what shows that you sold to me is a deed of conveyance. If the chief does not want to sign the deed of conveyance, it creates a lot of issues for you. One, you only have receipts, but you don't have a deed you can register. Normally, you can go to court, but it's a long process. You can go to court for what we call specific performance. You can go to court and insist that the transaction should be completed. So the court can make a declaration. It's an equitable, the court can order, say the person should go ahead and finish the transaction. But I'm asking that how long are you going to be in court on this matter? Some of these things, if you notice them earlier before you pay for the land, advise yourself. But if you are paid already and you're having some of these difficulties, you can go ahead and develop. But it means you don't have an indenture. Take possession of it. But eventually, if you don't get an indenture, you may have to go to court to get an order of specific performance. The court can compel the person to give you the indenture on it. Or the court can even order Lands Commission to register the land in your name.
All right. Let me add Michael up here. Michael, unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, that's for opportunity. No, my question is, who is taller now? At what point in say unches can be more over train now when some documentation which is saying then chane idea home and sana where to ya BBA more whatever agreement I'm more agreeing. And now say can they say yeah train whatever instrument I winning in area and sana document home no the amount or my sign amount.
Okay.
That's my question. No?
Okay.
All right. Lawyer.
Okay, Nana, me that's and normally no need winning or more agreement or. But what I will advise is that, say, if you are paying by installments, before you do the final installments, ensure that the documentation is ready. When I'm bringing my final installment, I'm coming to the final installment, the documentation should be ready. While I transfer the money, I take my documents. But sometimes you will pay them. If it comes to them now giving you the documentation, it becomes a problem. So have an agreement with them. Let them understand that, okay, I'm paying the thing in 3 installments. When I do my second installment, start preparing my indenture for me when I do my second installment. When my third installment is ready, I'll come and inspect the documents. If the documents are ready, I transfer the money, or we go to the bank, I pay it into your account, and you hand it over to me. Sometimes you can even deal with their lawyers, so they may hand over the indenture to their lawyers. Once it goes through, then the lawyer will hand it over to you. But once you are done with the payment, ensure that you are taking your documentation on the land. But in the agreement you have with whoever is selling the land to your grantor is based on that agreement. Thank you.
My main family last question here. Now, made the Reverend Titus Enso Abro from Zion City. Zion City, a real estate developers say land na untimi enye development na uni obia obetimi ahweso amount o trust ne say udisika komana obetimi abo ahweso esia Zion City ese omo ho no obetimi abo a develop project at the amount as and when you have money they will continue to, or if you need financial assistance they will help you to arrange with a bank into so you betie a brief presentation from Zion City na for this the way section way about every year yemfa Joyce Anaman. Joyce, Mbacho, omit yourself na for question, bro.
Thank you very much. Lawyer, thank you. Thank you very much. You've given us a lot of information, which has prompted me to ask this question. Okay, so Mito Asasibi wo Pokuase, Amasaman area. And when we are documenting and everything, I had a card, almost say a first registration and everything. But ahemfo bi a na wɔn wɔ hɔ no wɔn there was trouble between them, and asam no court for so many years court, and the people I bought the land from no wɔn winning case no, so that ahene catch him says they say, and I have no problem, my lands are there, is there, I bought two plots, but ahene we free baby no tina where he used to live in we free. My friend now only make us fine, you know, only make everything is okay. But on train baby or you be kwa no. So yeah, na no, but he communicates with me on WhatsApp. So recently, I became a little bit concerned about it. So me might be official search land this lands commission, and when you or the results in the buy, and that catch him said there is no name. Yeah, register on the plot now. I have all the documents for all the indentures, everything is being stamped. There's no name. And see, or catch him said I would have to find a way to go and put my name on because there's no name. Check. In fact, 2 weeks ago, no check here. Last week, no day in the brain say there is no name. How do I go about it?
Okay, Joyce. Joyce, me just say who are indentured that.
Me wo fine.
Who are indentured that? What present you our lands commission?
But woman at the time, woman catch him so my BBR. So for
who a yellow card no.
You a yellow card no.
So a yellow card I just say I presented that. So follow up the registration at lands commission.
Okay.
Because the way lands commission is say if you present it and you don't follow it will just be in the system.
Okay.
So you follow up the registration and ensure say once I NUBR demo, so speed that quickly and put it out in your name.
Okay.
Even before you notice I'm more being indenture also, then the person will go ahead of you and go and register the place. But as I said, I hope you are on the land.
As I said, yes, because one more year in Tokyo, I'm saying one woman who couldn't pakra I'm say land guards ne Abeman
lands no.
Yeah, I bought it from them. And then one money the other one more I tried papa na catch him say main China woman and there some and some alcohol because they're safe. And I listened to him all these years, but me baby
But have you been to the land recently? Is the land still vacant?
Saturday, I asked a surveyor from the land commission and the person in Ghana who is looking after these affairs for me in Ghana to go and visit, to go and see the land. So they're going there on Saturday.
Okay, so push your registration and go and check if the land is still vacant. If it's vacant, go and put some building material,
I'll do that.
Strip of stones on it, and be sure if you put strip of stones on it and somebody else is claiming a rival title, you will know.
I will know.
Something onto the land while you push with your registration, but don't leave the land vacant. Make sure that you move on.
Never going to happen. I would have my year BB was so the data, but and troubles none one more year and I go Supreme Court and then and you know and I so I had patience waiting for all these things to happen, but now no, I'm going to move forward with it. But I will call you if I need your help.
That's fine.
Move and take possession of your land. Lawyer, is it possible, say, Obi ebitimi ama indenture, and on the indenture, a status say you cannot register the land? Is it something that is possible?
Oh, that's a serious red flag. Register the land. I said, what on car, mommy? I also mean to register or DVLE. That should tell you there's a problem. Okay. If I buy land, I need to register it. If I have not registered it, you can't use it to go for a loan from the bank. You can't do a lot of things. It is the registration that will help you to enjoy the full benefits of land ownership. So if you are telling me that I cannot register the land, it's a serious red flag. Anybody who tells you that, he tells you there's a problem. There's a serious problem with that.
Awesome. Let me go to Reverend Titus, and I'll come back to you for you to give us your last words. Then I hope your time will permit you to come back next week again.
I'll try.
Try your best, friend. All right, Reverend Titus, good evening and welcome back to the show once again. Zion City, Namoye or Zion City, and you can land once you can possession your land when you register it. Zion City, Monsumo Timi Edeboa, a titu, and you animal one on it said, say, problem, MIA. Do we have Reverend Titus on the line?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, internet, Ghana internet, Ghana internet. Yeah,
and thank you, Richmond, for such insightful presentation. And I don't know if you could allow me to. Nana, let me kill my video. It will help. Right? I know usually you like to see. I know usually like to see my face, but let me kill my.
Take off the video. Take off the video. Now, Yenkasa, briefly.
All right. Is it better now? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Better now? Yeah. Now, yeah. Okay. All right. I was also asking if you could allow me to share my screen. I wanted to present something to you.
Okay. I think, sir, what I will plead with you, because of time, I think next week I'll do the presentation early. So briefly tell us a bit about Zion City. Then next week I'll start with you, then add a lawyer to it.
Okay, that's fine. So what on the background of what lawyer has said, we did a research actually, and then we realized a lot of people have bent their fingers trying to get themselves their property. So what we did was to come in with an intervention where we've been able to build trust and then very good rapport with some of our folks out there. So what we do is to get people who already have their own lands, their property, their buildings, or to help people who need a location and then a building, right? So those are the two offers that we have now. So if you have your own space, maybe you have a place in Chado, or you have a place in Laboni somewhere, the land is bare, and then you can confirm. They are just simple steps that we can confirm that the land belongs to you. Then you can sign up to one of our architectural drawings. We do the BOQ for you, the bill of quantities for you. We sign an agreement, and then we build as you pay. So that's the offer. We build as you pay. So you're not going to pay upfront. Maybe a house that would cost you about 200,000. We'll spread it over 15 months. So as we build, you pay that amount. And then the other is for those who are without their own land. So we have banked some lands. We have some lands litigation free lands. So you choose from these lands, and then after you have chosen your architectural drawing, we do the BOQ for you. It goes through the same process, and then you make your initial payments. We spread the rest over a period. So this is basically what we do, so that we cushion you from all the hassles that a lot of people keep going through. Yeah. And so next week, God willing, what I'll do is to share some testimonials from some of the clients that we have. Some are in the UK, some are in the US, some are in Ghana as well. We'll show you some of the structures that we've been able to do for them and delivering it to them in record time. Some sign up for 15 months. By the 8th month, we hand over their projects to them. Some sign up for 20 months. By the 12th month, we hand over to them. And the good thing is that some have even not finished paying, but they are living in their homes. Yeah. So, Nana, basically that's what we do. And we'll be happy to have anyone who is willing to either engage us to build on his or her land, which she has already acquired, or on any of our banked lands. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Zion City enso edie eno or say said ye oho ebe subia no womo ebe siwu dan oho so kakra na otua ma omo ebia for 2 months no ma ye chire 3 months now say nya sika kakra komo no ma san to aso within 15 months oni omo yen hyehyɛ ya omo betimi asiwu dan no pepepe enye said ye busuafuo bi ebe gi usika na omo akotwitwa mfoni afri baabi ede abro na abekɔ na boga asase kra no wuni bi no enye sa asem no na ye ka ene anwumre eni ti bomodian na pe Zion City for enso contact details Reverend Titus mpacho betimi edo contact details ede agu chat room honomo ede aman said ye be ya ebetimi na omonso a contact you. Me pacho or any other question before Zion City Reverend Titus and so I will be to me edia ba memfa 3 questions now for yemfa we embrace ni enko tap send focus section ni mbie breaker room or any issue be an so no wait me akọ breaker room na yetimi assist with your issue mamenko Martha mpacho or meet yourself now for a question bra.
Kempacho mi question ebe mi say one answer mami. Me pay omu number no. Zion City 4 no.
Okay, yo. Any or chat room one or the ato one Martha
Yo, that's it.
B Joe, but or meet yourself for a question, bro. B Joe, ni one of my young call Rosemary, or meet yourself now for a question, bro.
Me pamucho, good evening. Me kakra, but me person me finding out to say so wow was now pursue musimawa. Does it have to be 15 months? Me not sure say me team year.
15 months now all cannot depending on your financial strength. Say ne year ikra wo sika nyina na ase omunsima within 2 months on betimi. But o pese wo spread your plan no within 15 months, 20 months depending on your financial strength and on so no on betimi ayenesa e the amount.
Oh, okay. Me that's me pacho. Second question, me wo Adam Fobi wo Ghana, we know has nothing to do with what we are discussing. But no simin bisa emano. Also contact tap send because or pese or advertisement ma tap send. But one fra he cannot get through to anyone or a blogger. And he wants to advertise just like how your friend is saying, Nana Prempemu advertising mamono.
Yo, minua A class ewo called so. Mr. A class, Mr. Wa obitimi ene ye mama Mary Edinsa was so na woni no I take it from there. Me jidi say yem brother A class ewa humano so. Obe contact Mama Mary na omo afafi hono.
Okay. And na me patrol means me pe omo contact details why omo see dine.
Mr. Obetimi akọ chat room hono me hu say omo de omo contact details at hono
Okay.
Yeah, go to the chat room na omo emboa. Why?
Yo, me da si bebre. Bye.
Bye. Yem pa wa hano ho. Mighty ababiem. Mighty mbacho yetio.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Zion City about the location. Did they look into the location, or is everywhere across Ghana that they can, when you have your land and you want them to help you develop it, they can do it for you?
Okay. Reverend, any location or just Accra?
No, so currently we have Chad, or we have locations in Teshi, we have locations in Ashaleboche, Adenta, Taifa.
That is your lands. If somebody wants to buy,
those are locations that we have. Yes.
Okay, what about if somebody
wants to
have their own land and they want to?
If you have if you have your own land, we can still talk, and then we'll see where your land is, and we'll go in there to construct for you.
Okay, cool. Mamemfa ofofro ewa hanomo.
No.
Ophelia. Is it no, not Ophelia. Fidelia, sorry. Fidelia, yourself. I'll meet yourself.
Me patcho me da say. Now person me bisa say even say maybe a property ni an asase no. You've already started building. Now we do level B and you later as the discussion Reverend Akan. Can they still proceed with that kind of arrangement, Nana? Or
Okay.
where do level B?
Okay, that's nice. My main back on county and funny me no yeah, Famata dada Max Dogway. Max, I'll meet yourself now for a question, bro.
Okay. But
Papa, if one.
Oh, okay. But the question is concerning the indenture, no. As you have said, what to assassin work of first survey, no. Now we acquire search, no, we organizing indenture. No. This year, only a corner assassin, no. Okoye no, almost say on henene ebusiape no, almost say on besa di staff from you as an almost signed document. No, is that even legal? Since on what assassin now we no.
I'm not on assassin amount.
And I want to acquire set after survey and acquire indenture. And I says yeah, sign home nebusiape or the family, the stool which is selling you the land. No. It says here to take it back to them before you can do the registration. Almost before they sign, they will take another money again before they can sign or they put their signature there. So I don't know if that's legal or not, or that's just something that's going on.
Okay, cool. My main Reverend Titus first, na member lawyer honum. Reverend Titus, Obusa say or starting project, you know, we do baby. Teaming twice or person twice or no person more year man. Is this something that because in your presentation you say your client will choose one of your architectural designs na more year man. But in this case, we started that multi twice.
Thank you very much, and thanks for the question. One of the things that we would do in such cases is that we go to conduct an inspection, and then our engineers are able to tell if the structure has some level of integrity. Where we believe when the report comes and then the structure is not very good, something that we cannot do, we'll let you know, because the foundation of a story building is not good. You know, there is nothing we can do. It will be very straightforward with you, so if we can't do it. But in cases that we can easily take over and we can have an agreement with the other company who are handling it for you, we can take over and then do it. So it all depends on the outcome of the assessments that we'll go and make on the structure that is available. So we are open. We'll go on ground with you and then do an assessment, and then the results will show if we will take over or not. Thank you.
All right, cool. Lawyer, on the indenture side.
I can make me that so far. And normally, this issue, I would normally advise people say, if what they're asking for is nothing much, to avoid all this needless litigation, I give them the money. If they're asking for a token to sign, and it's not something substantial, I give them the money, let them sign. At the end of the property, if you can use that to buy your piece, just pay so that they can sign for you, and then you go there. Sometimes in some of the things, also it creates a lot of issues. So that's my advice on it. If it's a little token they are asking, normally they will say give us signing fee. If it's a little token, that's what I'm saying, my snap, or give us drink or something. Also, he need feed the fans a pine call. You can't do stuff like that. So once you go and the chief wants on drink beer, give them something little, let them sign for you. But if it's something substantial, then we can look at it then. But say bibi kakra dem but mo munsa kakra wa no munsa ma. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. But with something substantial, how will you term it? Say in terms of the price range, what will you mean by something substantial? Sorry for
what I mean by something substantial, if you have already agreed on price, Let's say the land is 100,000.
Yeah.
And you have finished paying the 100,000. And now they are asking you to pay, let's say you go there, say pay us under 50,000 again. That one is something substantial. That one, now we can try and drag the matter now. But if you are paid 100,000, you go say, signing fee, bring us something like 3,000, 4,000, I'll tell you pay. But if they're asking you for 50,000, you bought land at 100,000, they're asking for under 50,000 to sign. That is substantial to me. And those ones, I'll look at the agreement you have with them. And if we have to compel them to go ahead and sign, we can look at it. But bear in mind that going to court is also expensive. So sometimes I'm a lawyer, but I don't always encourage people to say, some of the things, you know, if there is an easier way to solve it, we'll explore that option first. We only go to court when all other options have failed. That is when we go to court.
Okay, all right. Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you so much.
For it's time, Munti. My fact last question. I'll bring lawyer and Reverend Titus back again next week. My fact Theodora. Theodora, but you'll meet yourself now for a question, bro.
Me pacho Zion yina me pese me bisa almost say oka almost say o pese usi dina omo ankasa be use omo materials aye dina ma na wo akotu omo kana sa no pese o chere
Mr. Owendia, mane enchile mu ansa na wakowa o hanum. Reverend, saying a mo arrangement na etie.
Komantia see
Etio or hanum obichichu mu nya wetre. Why? Reverend.
Yes, me pacho your arrangements no twofold. What I'm presenting to you. First, for those who have their land, someone confirm we are. We have architectural drawings. We'll take you through. The kind of structure we'll pay. We'll do the bill of quantities for you based on the structure we have agreed on. We'll sign an agreement. We'll take permits, and then we'll start the construction itself. Construction, based on the bill of quantities, the costings, you pay a percentage, and then we'll spread the rest over months. And also, you better agree. Some people want 12 months, some want 15, some want 20 months. It all depends on the client. It will agree. And as you pay, we bill. It will be a job card. We'll open a job card for you. So every amount you pay, and like lawyer said, you pay into our bank account. Everything is recorded. Unigana, you will give us somebody who is here who will be feeding you with information. It becomes your rep, she becomes your rep. We give you weekly reports, and then you are okay with the building that we are building. Now, the other way, we already have some lands that we have banked. We've bought them already. We've done all the assessment there, litigation freelance. Ebi wo Chado, ebi wo Teshi, ebi wo Madina, Ashalibotre, Adenta, Mabobo Bebre, Enti. That one is up to you when you choose the location and then you choose the architectural drawing. We go through the same process. We do the BOQ for you, and then once you pay your initial, after signing the contract, we will take the permits and then we'll start the construction. And also, as we build, you pay. And basically, the arrangements not here. Thank you very much.
Yo, Reverend Titus, whilst you are here, Yemfa will last where Snaffy, lawyer and so funny last word, Sembra. Yenko commercial break, Yebape, near court chapter 7 focus section. Then I'll open my breakout room. Reverend.
Right. Thank you for the opportunity. One of the things that I was saying is we understand what you guys are going through out there. And that's why we are creating all of these flexible arrangements. And you'll get in touch. I've seen quite a number of people reaching out to us already. We are excited. We'll have arrangements with you, we'll meet with you, and then we'll move on from there. Thank you, Nana, for the opportunity. Coming now.
Yo, lawyer, your last words.
Okay, Nana, thank you very much for having me. The last thing I want to say is that when it comes to litigation, land litigation, it's very expensive. So please ensure that you do proper due diligence before you buy land. Sometimes you can also decide to engage a lawyer to help with the due diligence as well. So do proper due diligence before you acquire land. Thank you very much. Thanks so much.
No, so lawyer, are you promising us saying Yami Adman next week over?
I'm still in the office, so I'm not close to work.
I know. You know, I'm sure say Ura Malto Ewo line also. Malto, are you still on the line? No, Malto is not on the line. Kofi?
Yes.
Are you there? Yeah, Kofi Ajay.
Malto's boarding. I texted him. He's bored. I'll back to the crew.
Okay. Into the Kofi Ajay, then I'll back and guest enumerate.
Oh, first of all, thank you so much. Me ever started crying, then I'll come in because I cry. As I say, we'll be our call. So either one because our experience and as will be our experience. Or no more can it's 10 commandments. No, do 5 because I'm because no maybe I'm who before the past. But in all seriousness, Pacho Damasipa, thank you so much. And Pacho, TF1, so thank you so much. I'm about Musa questions. Montias near Cheshire. Into Montini ABC, and he goes into the community to find issues that matter, and we find experts to come. To first of all, thank you so much, lawyer Richmond Korley, Esquire. Thank you so much. And our Reverend Titus Nano. Yeah, that must say papa. Me assure person now comment with some abesababio. And maybe to me, I'll go back. I'm sure you get the same questions again. And you know my friend will be a best answer. Thank you. I think that's all I have to say now, Kwame. Please take it away.
All right, cool. For Reverend and lawyer Asi for coming on the show this evening. I will do my possible best to bring them back again. We will still talk about lands. We will still talk about properties next week because, we want to understand the history behind Ghana lands. So when you are going to buy land, either from the state or from a family, stew land, skin land, you know how to go about it. Said yeah, will be amfa yet anchor your kalo. I'm going for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will be dealing with Tap Send focus section and our open breakout room. If you have any issue with your Tap Send app, go into breakout room 1 and there will be people in there to assist you. And also, if you need any other answers from the lawyer or Reverend Titus, contact our chat room. Go into the chat room, pick their contact and contact them. Producer.
Let's go.
Hi there, my name is Calibos, the only boss with 1 S. Happy new month to all of you. Welcome to a month of new possibilities.
Do you know why life has been made so easy? It's because of Tap Send. People, Tap Send is here to make your life easy if you want to transfer money to Ghana, if you want to transfer from USA, if you want to transfer from UK, Europe, Canada, a lot of places all to Ghana. And guess what? When it comes to Ghana, there's no e-levy charge.
So, what are you waiting for? Download Tap Send on Google Play Store and App Store and be ready for exciting offers coming your way each time, every time on Tap Send.
Tap Send. Send more, spend less.
Yo, I was here for Sabra Mineo Kasaidia, ye be breaker room.